Hey guys, welcome to the Sunday Signal, episode 3. We got a lot to cover today, okay? But I want to cover it in a quick and easy time where you could understand. Guys, please go ahead and if you like this content, all I'm going to ask you to do is go ahead, just leave a comment below and make sure you subscribe and like the video, all right? So, with that said, let's go into some couple things right now. As far as for next week we have a couple things that are going on for next week. I am going to share my screen with you so you can see everything as well. So with that, next week it's gonna probably be a quiet week as far as for news. Um, for some part of it, right? So next week we have on Monday we don't have anything going on, but Tuesday, if you notice, we have Fed Powell speaking on Tuesday at 8:30. Now that's before the market open. So because it's before the market open, we will see the reaction before market before we start to trade at 9:30. Okay, so with that said, just pay attention and know that all right, whatever he says on Thursday could affect the market, so you want to pay attention to that. Now, do you want to swing into Tuesday? I'm not sure if that's a smart idea, especially if you're a new trader. Okay, so if you're trading on Monday, make sure you close out on Tuesday with Fed Power speaking. It could go anyway. It could go both ways. Okay. Then you have on Wednesday. Wednesday again. Wednesday always have crude oil, so you'll see crude oil move. But also on Wednesday you'll have existing home sales. So you have also existing home. I think new home sales is gonna be on Thursday, right? On Thursday, yeah. New home sales is gonna be on Thursday, but nothing happening on Wednesday for the US. Now, on Thursday, you'll always have, like I mentioned, you'll always have unemployment happening on Thursday. So you want to pay attention to those numbers because those numbers will affect the market. Along with at 9:45, you have news. These are going to be important to the market, which can move the market in a direction. Then you have 10 o'clock, you have new home sales. So there's a couple things happening on Thursday. So if you're new and you're not experienced in trading, maybe you want to hold off. If you're not trading with somebody experienced and you just sit there by yourself, maybe you want to wait till after 10 till all the news come out before you trade. Now, if you want to trade before that, trade at your own risk, but just know that things can maybe look like it's going your way when you start trading at 9:30, and then news come out at 9:45, and then it switch in a different direction because the news that came out might not be anticipating the same trend, right? And then 10 o'clock, it might switch up on you again. So with that, just bear that in mind on Thursday. And then on Friday, we have news again at 8:30. Okay. That is orange. And I always mention with the orange folders can shift the market, but not as much as the red folders. Okay. So I use Forex Factory calendar to look at the news. Everybody have their own preferences. Again, before I go through this whole thing, this is not financial advice. Okay. This is just my opinion. All right. So with that said, guys, I do also run a Discord. I started the Discord not too long ago. It's called Married to the Market. Me and my wife trade every single day live. And last week we knocked it out of the park. All winners, no losers last week as far as for trades. Everything was 100%. I gave you guys 3 trades on Sunday Signal. I think all 3 trades play out. Meta definitely played out and hit our target. Google played out last part of Google, I believe, and I think Chrome. I mentioned Chrome. I mentioned a couple of stocks last week, and I think probably the week before as well. So those definitely played out. You just want to make sure that when you buy your contracts, you buy time on it. I only do options trading, and that's it. I don't do forex. I do forex, but I don't mention forex, and I don't do futures. Okay, everything I'm talking about right now is going to be for options. So with that, in our Discord, you could see people are making money. You have this that we did Nvidia last week on a trade, did great as far as that. You know, you have also people are making money in the Discord, guys. This is real people doing real stuff. So, enough said about my Discord. If you want to join my Discord, I give free information as well. I have a lot of free information that's given out as far as in the Discord. We have blogs, all that good stuff that you could learn from, especially if you're new or beginner, even if you're an experienced trader. All right. So with that said, guys, let's go into what I'm seeing on the charts. Market just opened as far as for futures and as far as for forex, and I always pay attention to those before anything else. So right now, gold always reflects certain ways. Okay, so what I'm seeing on gold on a time frame that's high, a higher time frame, is that gold is creating higher highs and higher lows. Okay. So, regardless, even though if gold is not doing crazy stuff right now, gold is still in a bullish trend. So, we're creating higher highs right here, right? On price action, and we're creating higher lows. So, we're still in a bullish trend for gold. Now, if you're in a bullish trend for gold and a bullish trend for the markets, then something is going on, right? Now, this market sentimental is saying that I think it's extremely greed, right? And then you want to make sure you're paying attention to that, because if extreme greed, we're at all-time highs, guys. So you want to make sure that when you're trading, just know that the market definitely have to do some type of pullback. So if you're doing swing trades, just make sure you're getting in the right trades and know that you have time, and you make sure you're taking some type of profit, because if you're holding on to a certain price, it might not get to that price and you might be up 50%. And where you should be scaling out of your trades, you might say, oh, you know what? Let me hold on to it and then close it at that price pullback. And now you're in the negative. So I always recommend taking profits. Don't care what it is. Profit is profit. You build confidence with profit. You in profit, and then you end up losing money. Then you start second guessing yourself as far as trading, and then you quit. Okay. So with that said, the market right now, we have to wait, of course, and see. But where gold is right above VWAP right here. Gold was testing resistance the whole time. This is a weekly chart. So if you notice, gold has been testing resistance right here. Okay, a break above this line, and gold will be more than a break above this will be gold will be bullish, but gold is still bullish, like I said, because it's creating higher lows and higher highs. So gold is still bullish, guys. Right on the monthly time frame, we are inside. Okay, we are inside, but if you notice, we've been closing above this resistance line. And on top of that, we came down test right here, and we possibly could break. If we break above this monthly chart, then we could see gold going back up to all times highs at 35, and possibly break 35 and continue up to 37.50. Okay, so that's for gold. When you're talking about futures, right now futures is already broken as far as the monthly, so we're expecting futures to continue, but we can have pullbacks, guys, no matter what. If you're looking right now where futures is, and you look over here, we're hitting some type of resistance over here, so we can have a pullback. We have 10 days left in the month, right? So we can have a pullback where it come down, and then we could continue the following month and go up. Nothing always goes straight up. Now, we definitely know that we had a huge reversal to the upside when it did this candle right here, which I'm very excited about telling you what I'm looking at for next week, because the candles just look sexy. But either way, guys, just pay attention, because we are at all-time highs, and this is where people get greedy and think, oh, we're going to the moon like crypto. And that's not the case. Okay, that's definitely not the case. So when you're trade, just make sure that you're taking profits regardless of whatever you're doing. Don't be greedy. And if somebody's telling you 10% ain't nothing, they're lying, because 10% accumulated even over 10 days, 10% accumulated over 10 days will double whatever your trade, the amount you're trading with. So if you're trading with $1,000, if you have a $5,000 account, you're using 25, you're using $1,000 out of that. Guess what? You just made $1,000 in 10 days. You just did 20% on your account in 10 days, right? So think about that over the period of time, and then you're going to see how much you could accumulate. Remember, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon, and you want to make sure that you're developing good and proper skills. Okay. You're not chasing, you're not thinking this is a get rich quick scheme. If you want to risk, go to the damn casino at that point. All right. So with that said, guys, the market is looking good to the upside, but please, please, please still pay attention to certain things. I did talk about shop, right? shot broke to the upside, like I mentioned to you guys. Definitely did what it was supposed to do. And leading up right here to the 29, I think it already hit my target at 29. Yet 29, it hit my first target at 29. And now we're going to head to 35. We have 10 more days. So just look for Shopify to be very bullish as well, right? I think I just give you an extra one because that wasn't my whole thing. But either way, I'm all into giving. With that said, guys, I don't hold back. There's certain plays that I see that I won't say because I'm leaving that for my group as well because I do live trading, and in my live Discord, I leave certain plays for that. Either way, let me go to the market sector so I could show you certain things. What I'm really seeing right now is the financial sector, and the financial sector definitely have a really, really nice candle on it as far as XLF. XLF on the weekly looks very sexy. Okay. I don't know if you guys know what candle or price action is, but these are setups that I really love. And this setup right now that I'm seeing on XLF is a really nice setup to the upside. Okay. So, what I'm hoping for next week, or what I'm looking for next week, hopefully we don't have a gap up, but instead we have a pullback, right? To start the day, the week off. So, we have some type of pullback right here, possibly come down. I like to see it come down to the body because the body is always where support is. If you notice right here, we all closed, all three candles close above this level, and this one tested that level as far as resistance. So now resistance have become support. So we want to see a pullback probably like by Monday, and then Tuesday we see a push up and break right here. A break above here, either way, a break above here means that we're bullish. First target is going to be up here, right? Followed by our target at 54. Now, I don't trade XLF, okay? I don't trade XLF, but this is the market sector for finance. So, with that said, we're going to look inside what XLF has, and then we're going to trade those, okay? You could look at those as far as opportunities. So, in a sense, when you're talking about the stocks inside, now a lot of them might not have the same setup, but some of these stocks will mimic exactly how XLF looks. Okay, right now, Berkshire is not looking the same, but I will say there's one stock that's definitely looking the same. That's an opportunity for next week, and that is going to be JP Morgan, right? So JP Morgan, with that said, we didn't hit that 300 mark. We went close to 300, right? So we went to what, 296. So with that said, and if you look left, take a look at this, guys. If you look left, that's the pullback that I'm talking about. A lot of times people might trade and say, all right, we're going up here, and they might say, listen, I'm not taking profit, right? I'm going to write it up here. And if you don't have the proper time on your contract, that pullback can kill your contract. Okay. So if you look left, you would see that we had something right here. That's why the rejection happened. Okay. So right now, a break above here on JP Morgan and we'll be bullish at least to 296, and a break above 296 will take us up to 300. Okay. I'm not going to say all the way up here. Yes, we can go all the way up to 309, but 300 is going to be that cycle level where people are going to want to take profit on JP Morgan, especially if they bought down here at 219 or 200, or even right at 250, 275. That's 20. You have to think about the profit that people are making on those. So if they're looking for a 10% gain in the market, they just got 10%, they just got 20%, 25%, and now they're selling to collect that profit, right? And then when it drops back down, then they're gonna say, all right, let me pick it back up again. Okay, so just pay attention to a break of here. So a break of what exactly is this? 292.50, a break above 292.50 for JP Morgan, and we should go up. Not go possibly. Our target will be 296, 296.40, followed by 300, followed by 309. Now when we say 300, 300 is psych level. If we break above 300, then it's going to be 305. Okay, so 305 is going to be another psych level, followed by 309 up here. You have to remember we're taking things in increments. So everything is going to be psych level 300, 305, 310, 315. All of those are going to be psych levels. So you're going to see some type of pullback when you see those. Okay. So trade accordingly when you're talking about JP Morgan. The next one that I saw inside here was, I believe it was, no, it was Bank of America. Where is Bank of America? Here you go. So Bank of America. Now look how sexy this one is. Where is it? Is it this? Bank of America. I thought it was Bank of America. Let me make sure. I have Bank of America for one. Is it on the daily that it looks good or on the monthly? Oh, there we go. Weekly. There we go. Yeah, I know something was up. Look at this, guys. Oh my gosh. So these are setups that I really love seeing as far as that's a perfect hammer. That's a perfect reversal candle to the upside. Now, VWAP is right here. So again, I don't want to see a gap up. What I would really love to see is a pullback, test VWAP, or come right back down to this level right here and bounce off the body and then continue up. Now, a continue up, this doesn't have a big move like you would have, especially you're talking about JP Morgan. So the profit wise, but there's still profit in anything, right? So don't be greedy, like I said. So a break above here, even though this is 447, this is 47.38. The target on this will be 49. So you're talking about $1 and change, with the next level being $50. Okay, so $50 is going to be that level. We came close to $50, but it didn't hit $50. Why? Because people are taking profit. Okay, some people are going to sell before $50 because they're saying they might look and they might say, well, you know what? When they would look at $50, there was a big order at $50. So they're like, yo, you know what? I want to take my profit before it get to $50. Okay. Because if I put it at $50, it might not sell. So now other people seeing that say, you know what? Let me go ahead and take my profit right here at 49.25. And then you see that sell off. But now we break back above here. We're above EMA. We're testing. We're still staying above our EMA right here, and we're above VWAP on the weekly. Very pretty candle, very, very pretty candle as far as the weekly candle, as far as reversal to the upside. So that looks great to the upside. Just need a break. Like I said, if it gaps up, I won't pay attention to it until it comes back down, close that gap, and then break above where it opens. So if it gaps up to right here, say it gap up to that low right now, where is the high of this candle? 47.38. So say for instance it gap up to 47.60. Say for instance it gap up to 47.60. Well, I would wait for it to come back down, close the gap, and then break above 47.60, and then I'll take trades on it. But I don't like trade gap ups. I don't care for them. So that's just my thing. Okay. And then the last one, guys, that's what, number 2. I also gave you a bonus earlier as far as shop. Shop I called out before, but either way, shop still have a lot more momentum to the upside. But now the next one is gonna be tricky, but also I think with earnings coming up, it should be something that people should pay attention to, and that's going to be Tesla. Okay, so I traded Tesla. I called Tesla last week as far as to the upside for Tesla. Tesla looks really good to the upside as far as for the weekly. We have at least to right here, which is 345, but I'm going to say 350 and upwards because of what's going on for earnings now. Pay attention to certain things, okay? We are in, let's see right here. Pay attention to certain things. Now, we're creating higher lows as far as here, right? We're creating higher lows. So let's do this. And it's just eyes, guys, because I just zoom out and saw that. But we're creating higher lows right here. We came up, we pulled back, right? And now we're trending up again. Okay. We came up, pulled back, then came up right here, tested. But this is like, if some people want to look at it, you could say, and talk about it in waves, right? You could talk about it in waves. So either way, right, we're creating higher lows right here. But now you have to pay attention to right here as well. So if we come right here and we draw all this line right here, we could say, hey, there's trouble coming as well because it's in that little space right here, right? So target, as far as that, if we see all these touches, we could say, hey, we could come up to resistance line, okay? And up to that resistance line is right at what is that, 43? 343.73. Now, some people will draw the line a little bit tighter, right? And they could say, hey, it hit more candles. So you could draw it in a little bit tighter. If you draw it in a little bit tighter, then you could see we're breaking out of here, but we can always pull back in. But you could see that we're in a tight wedge right now. And at some point we have to break out, which lines up with earnings, because with earnings we might see a huge gap up or we might see a huge gap down. Now with all this beefing that's going on with Trump and Elon, we don't know what can happen, but there's good news coming out for Tesla. But also they just slashed prices with some incentives. So there's a couple things that's going against it as well. So either way, we're gonna play what the chart is giving us, right? So on the daily time frame, we're looking good as far as daily time frame to the upside. Okay, like I said, we have upside room or upside potential to 350. 350 is gonna be that area, but you gotta pay attention to certain things. I would say a break above the week, right? I would love to see a pullback first starting out in the week. So I wouldn't want to trade Tesla going into next week if Tesla gaps up right away. I want to see Tesla probably gap down first and create this gap. I love to see when there's no gap between the weeks, because if there's a gap up and you go in, there's a potential of a pullback and now you're stuck waiting for the entire week for it to come up. So with that said, I would rather like it to open flat up on the week or come down and then break the week. Once it break the week, then we could take that trade. Now, bear in mind your contracts are the contracts for Tesla is going to be high VI IV for this week, right? Implied volatility is going to be very high. So with that, because we have earnings this week on Tesla, then hold on. Yeah, okay. Because I'm like, why is it showing one thing? So yeah. So because we have earnings this week on Tesla on Wednesday, expect the contracts to be a lot more expensive. Okay. The contracts are going to be a lot more expensive. With that said, just trade accordingly. If you don't want to get caught in those contracts, then what I would recommend is wait till after Wednesday. Then you could go ahead and trade Tesla after Wednesday, after that earnings come out. So either way, those are the three stocks, guys. Like I said, if you find any value in the Sunday signal, please just go ahead, drop your comments, drop a like, and then also, guys, subscribe and let YouTube know the algorithm that I'm giving out great information. Apart from that, guys, trade safe. I have the Discord. I'm gonna drop it in the description. So if you guys want to join my Discord, it is free. If you want to jump into the live call outs, you can as well. If anything, guys, have an amazing night and trade safely starting tomorrow. All right, guys, have a good one.